head, and there he goes. Abyss gonna clean him up.
Olaf goes down. Everyone's just gonna line up here for Lazzy. He's gonna find himself the Quadra. Give it to him. Pentakill.
Priestley with the quad feet.
Gets the ace. Available, just spin to win all over.
That game was insane.
Hello, Saints Nation. Long time no see. My name is Seymour, joining in on the Cheez Groups Collegiate Esports St. Clair coverage. We've been having quite the night. I'm going to be alongside Danners as he has been carrying the stream all night long. Danners, it's been a great night for Overwatch for the Saints.
Absolutely. The only people they've really gone down against are like some of these top teams. Like they got to see them up against Miami University of Ohio in the second match of the day, and of course that was a top like I was saying before, that was a top 5 team in a past league, and it shows why they were 5th seed here in this tournament. Yeah. It was understandable for that one to be a 2-0, but that being said, they still fought hard. It was still relatively close, and then going up against some of these lower seeds, Saints have been just absolutely crushing it. 2-0s across the board. Shawnee State had essentially very little chance. Davenport kept getting caught out, and it's just been so far so good here for St. Clair. But now, with this University of Florida squad, this is going to be tough because this is in our top team coming up.
This is going to be a hard one. And the Saints, coming in with their new roster of the year, making their debut today, have to look stand out. I know you got Apostle, Kale, and Baleable representing from the old roster, but these new guys on the block for Saints Nation have been stepping up to the plate and pushing forward. This is the best Overwatch team I have seen in quite a bit for the Saints, and I'm saying that even though I used to play for one of the other Overwatch's teams, but definitely a big upgrade here for Saints Nation, so I'm excited to see my first look at them. As I saw a little bit of Dorado in the past game, they're looking well composed, well organized, and the compositions that we're going to be seeing, we saw a double bubble. They were trying to go for the Ryan Force, but I expect some more double bubble here. What's been the rotation for game modes? Where are we starting off on?
So the way that this Cheez-Its event has been doing it is we end up doing control first, then escorts, and then I think we go back to control, or no, we do hybrid. There is no 2 CP in this whatsoever, and it's only a best of 3. So that makes for some quick games and competitive games, because yes, no 6-6 overtime Anubis situations in this tournament, as we're about to get underway. Going to bring us to the game actually in just a second here as the teams are ready to rock. We have ourselves Nepal to start things off. Losers round 4, University of Florida versus St. Clair. Here we go.
I like this. St. Clair Saints going for the double shield composition. University of Florida going for the double bubble. So you're looking at St. Clair to capture the point. You're looking at the Sigma. He's going to be the one to move from point back to his Orisa. But if you're University of Florida, you need to dive in. And already Dio was not expecting that setup. Gets right into the mix. And University of Florida, they're out of main tank.
That is always one of the scariest things about playing in Winston. You dive on in and no one's really able to follow up with you. You just get completely exploded frame 1, and the Saints do exactly that. Nowhere to go. And I've been giving props to this St. Clair squad pretty much all night, especially to the support line, where yes, of course, you think support, you think of just like healing and making plays, but no, this support line, they can frag, man, and they're kind of scary too. As we see our junk, never mind letting the tank go in, he's diving in first.
Oh, you do see Symmetra helping Dio get around, but ultimately this poke is so much to deal with, and you got AR Junk contesting this point, keeping the snipers off the high ground. Finally, St. Clair going to transition onto this point, contest this Ana, who is soon to be in the Nether Realm, as he's joining his Winston on rotation. Apostle dropping quite low to the Ashe, but ultimately Saints capture first, and now you can see them rotate around. They're going to be setting up to poke some more. You're looking at AR Jug is going to be contesting this point while the team pokes away at this dive composition. If you're University of Florida, really need Tesla and Omelette to look for an opening, pick somebody off with this boosted Ashe, and I like this rotation that I'm seeing from Florida here. They're looking to dive the Saints.
And it's going to get a little bit nasty, but here comes Bob from Tesla, and we're going to see the battle commence up on this high ground here. Our Apostle hanging on by a thread. G-Scale is going to be the first casualty in this fight. Kale going to get a return frag, however, onto Harmony and Dio. That's going to be one res coming right back up, though. 9 trying his best to keep everybody topped off this amplification matrix alongside the Bongo here. Just going to be dealing so much additional damage or healing depending on what it is that you happen to be doing. 9 going to hang on by a thread, going to be barely hanging on, and actually Apostle, not Apostle, that's going to be Bailable hanging on as well. But so far, Saints able to hang on to this section, not going to let the University of Florida actually get any sort of capture, any sort of percent, but it's looking a little bit rough. A lot of low health bars. See Apostle drop.
Dio tosses Apostle off this map. You're looking finally to see University of Florida flip this point, but St. Clair Saints have accumulated a whole 62%. I love the disengage I saw from that dive from University of Florida initially. You had the bomb from Tesla, pop up G skills, take him out of the mix. But then St. Clair Saints, they understood that they had the amp matrix to back up, put down that amplification matrix, deny point control for University of Florida for a whole 20%. Now they're back on spawn, looking to break on in. You do have Kale with this Blizzard. You have 4 ultimates. Ultimately, you're going to pull them up with this Gravitic Flux, force out the beat, out of the mix. So that was the Dark Swan using their grab to hold it out. Neither ultimate getting any value. And now St. Clair just pushing back this dive. They can get point pressure.
I mean, just the pressure enough seems to be enough to actually let St. Clair get over half of this captured, and the Maywall just lets this get flipped for free. Absolutely brutal stuff for the defense of University of Florida. Really expecting Dio to go on in, but he gets Maywalled off nicely by Kale. Absolutely clutch, and he's going to end up finding the first elimination here as Tesla goes down to the gun of Kale.
Look, the TP right onto Apostle. Both beams gonna be up into that Arissa's grill. Takes him out of play right away. Kale's gonna pull the Blizzard to try to keep them steady. 9's out of play after taking out the Mercy. So big pick from that Baptiste. And you can see back and forth these teams going. The Dark Swan gets a triple on St. Clair, but they've accumulated a whole 90%. G-Scale still here to hopefully contest to overtime, but with the beams on either side of him, he's not long for the world. Now look at this. You get the flip, around 98%. St. Clair Saints 2% away from taking this first pool. Coming in with the bongos from Apostle. Everybody else is a little bit late on their ultimates. On the side of University of Florida, you got Omelet with that Mercy ultimate. You have Harmony with the wall from Symmetra. And the Dark Swan coming up on another grab along with Dio's Primal. You can get a lot of chunk damage from that combo.
Absolutely, but the Saints just need to get one solid team fight, capture this back over, and it's GG's on to the next round. But still going to be extremely tough, like you're saying. The resources just all seem to be like coming up for the side of University of Florida. Going to start things off there with the bongo like you were expecting. However, Saints are definitely going uphill on this one.
Look how much damage the tank line of Florida's taking. 9 comfortable to get on with G-Scales and Kale. The Sin's gonna use that ultimate, burn it in. G-Scale's gonna take a lot of damage, have to back out. You see the primal range, it props, but Omelet drops first in this fight. That's a huge player out of the mix, and Apostle burns the monkey as well. Primal rage gonna amount to nothing. Dark Swan does split the difference, take out Kale, but the damage has been done. The point looking to get flipped, and 98% to 98%. St. Clair Saints on their way to taking Nepal point 1. Exactly what they're gonna do as they move on.
And it is absolutely brutal. So many people, I know myself included, always just like think of Orisa's damage as completely negligible. You just completely ignore it. Well, Apostle just found himself quite the nice double to really help turn that fight, and then G-Scales too, get himself on the board, finding a couple nice boulders and some good plays alongside the rest of the St. Clair squad, of course, to clean up that one. G-Scales basically just able to walk onto the point, cap it without any sort of fear, and taking round 1, but we still got another round to capture before we win game 1.
Now we're moving over to Village. It's a little bit different, more brawly. Harmony, I'm curious to see if he sticks on this Symmetra, as you do expect that Reinhardt versus Reinhardt, the difference being J-Scales on this Sigma, Dio on the Diva. So this ultimately is telling me that St. Clair Saints want to go for point control, lock down this Sigma, but you can see the players through the wall. University of Florida want to do the exact same thing. So this is going to be a bloodbath. Symmetras TP themselves in. You see the May wall going to split off that run. Huge initiation from St. Clair. Already the main tank control from Apostle off that charge. And Saints well on their way to cap first.
I mean, I know we get laughed for it in some leagues, but we love to brawl, and we are damn good at it. We're able to hang on tight this time by win the initial fight. That being said, though, Apostle's kind of trapped between the rock of the building and the ice wall of Tesla, and nearly got himself taken down, but hangs on by a thread. Some of these Symmetra turrets finding some value, and that's going to be some of the Symmetra Shield Ultimate come out as well. This is going to get nasty. Let's just find a nice corner to hide in, as we do see it looks like the University of Florida squad. They're going to move away with this one.
I like that. University of Florida, you use the symbol to split Saints right down the middle. It's hard to decide whether you want to go on the right or the left. It's hard to communicate, and you see 9 drop the Ant Matrix. It's a good call, but ultimately with the shield splitting them, it gives Florida the option to dodge on either side, played a little bit of a dance between the Saints and get right up in their face. You deny 9 from doing as much healing as he can and just wipe that brawl head on. And now University of Florida with this flip, they're taking the advantage, and that's a big pick from Harmony as well. You're gonna drop that Diva Bomb in the back line, not gonna find anything with that, and you're gonna let your team just clean up the rest. St. Clair Saints forced back to the spawn.
Yeah, they're going to get sent back nice and quick there. Solid defense work coming out here from the University of Florida. A little extra Diva Bomb, just a little bit of extra like icing on the cake of sorts. Didn't get an elimination, but the Saints had to respect it and just completely getting held off here. Saints, though, they are essentially loaded in regards to ultimates on board. The only one who won't have it for this next fight will be 9. But I think if as long as the Saints can take this but not just blow everything willy-nilly, they should have this one.
The sim wall to get the Saints on point. You have the Shadow from Foster, you're looking at it. The Blizzard gonna be met by the beat on either side. So many ultimates to split this team, and look at Apostle taking so much damage. Kale uses, or Bailable uses the ultimate second, so St. Clair Saints are gonna get the control. They're gonna get the point. The TP brings the Dark Swan on the opposite side, but with the majority kills, you see St. Clair Saints get the point capture, wipe off the University of Florida, and look to get a little bit extra real estate on top of it. I love the initiation from Saints off the back of the Blizzard.
Was definitely messy, but they made it work, but they had to essentially use everything. Which, I mean, at the same time, University of Florida had to use a couple of ultimates at the same time to try and like, even things up a little bit. So it is not as much of a, not a throw, but you didn't use, I guess, overkill is what I'm trying to say here. As we're getting ready for this next one, we both have amplification matrices and Apostle with the flame strike snipe. We like to see that.
That is already omelet out. No speed initiation, no CC healing, nothing out of that. So St. Clair Saints are able to get the advantage on this team. You force out the Shatter. G-Scales does get knocked down, but Apostle still alive to protect his Sigma. Now the backup here. Apostle gonna force the aggression right into him, swinging his hammer for his life, and look, available right alongside him. You pull that Gravitic Flux to lift up Tesla, and you dominate the neutral against University of Florida. Going to cap this point back up to 78%. You're taking the lead now, Saints, and this is starting to get the last fight territory for Florida.
Oh my goodness, I love how 9 and our junk, whether intentionally or not, had Apostle sitting at less than 25% of his health that entire time. Just that juicy target that you wanted to overextend to go finish, and just could not quite get it done. That being said, though, one more attack on the way, and that is a huge shatter coming out here from Apostle. That is a happy birthday if I ever seen one, taking everybody down, and he, alongside the rest of the Saints, have absolutely just crushed this fight.
Name a better duo, St. Clair Saints and Shatters, but take a look at this neutral. You still see University of Florida staying alive. Dio shoving those shotgun turrets right down Apostle's neck, taking him out at this point. You're able to get the flip of University of Florida, even after the big play from the Reinhardt. It's not able to close this game out just yet, this map out just yet. And you're looking at Saints now going back to spawn. It's looking like it's flipped on its head. Saints on last fight territory. You have Sim Wall. You're coming up on another Shatter. You have Ant Matrix. On the other side, University of Florida, you have a Blizzard really to stump this team on out. And you're already forcing out that May Ice Block as well. So this initiation from Saints gonna have the advantage. It's just this Blizzard's gonna be such a nuisance. And Apostle goes down.
Yeah, that's one already down. It's going to be really messy here for St. Clair. I don't mind eating my words if University of Florida can make this happen, and they are right on the verge of doing so, and they are able to block out the Saints. Oh my goodness, what a turnaround from Florida.
Well, Saints not able to touch there. You saw G-Scales wanted to. There's just not enough time to get there. And it was that Blizzard to keep Apostle split on the right side of the wall. You saw the target focus from Dio really being the game changer for University of Florida right there. I love the play of the Diva pick over the Sigma. I think that the Diva mixed with the Reinhardt is just allowing a lot more protection and a lot more initiation on this target focus. However, G-Scale swapping to the Diva with Apostle's Winston in this next fight against the double bubble of University of Florida. We can see the difference once again between these tank comps and see if they come into really difference making.
Man, I just still eating my words there from that last game, but still definitely an exciting back and forth. We knew this one was going to be nuts. We knew this was going to be a close game, and University of Florida coming out swinging regardless of the odds. Absolutely love to see it. But in regards to control right now, University of Florida in good position on the point itself. Saints are kind of on the outside looking in here, which is an extremely difficult spot to try and be in, and I can't help but feel like they'd be a little bit shook after that game.
Clair Saints now, with losing Apostle, you really can't fight this. G-Skills doesn't have mech. Well, he has the mech call, but you lose out on 9, so this is fight over. Completely. The way St. Clair Saints really need to play this is you need to get that Coalescence for initiation, and off that, Apostle needs to stay alive longer. You do get the trade onto Dio, so as soon as Apostle gets back, you can jump into this fight. The only thing you're missing is the heals from your Moira, but she's on back. She's going to top G-Scales back off and even come up close to this Coalescence to initiate into it. However, Harmony, you can split the difference here. That Sim wall can be huge. Split off to St. Clair Saints, and exactly what they're going to use early. It's going to keep your Zarya up. You're not going to need to contest this dive because you can block yourself off from it. So from Tesla, amounts to nothing, but the D-Mech is there. Darkspawn's able to take him off. Coalescence from 9 to lead him in, but you're just losing one after the other. Saints just keep falling short to these dive compositions. University of Florida looking solid right now.
Absolutely brutal. Just getting stuck on the outside looking in is the worst spot it feels like to be here on this map. If you could manage to go like head to head with them once you've already made it up there, you're A-okay, but just getting there is the hard part. And University of Florida, just like you're saying, just slamming the door essentially on the Saints multiple times. The only ultimate available now is our junk. We see lots of hero switching here for the St. Clair squad to try and pull this off, but there's already 65% down and a huge pick already from Tesla onto Kale.
Kale not being there means you can't split with that May wall anymore. Look at Saints, they don't even want to fight this. You get Apostle onto this Reinhardt, you need to play the brawl, and this EMP from Available is going to be the entry marker for the St. Clair Saints off of AR Junk, speeding them into it, so he's looking for his target, but he gets detected. Tesla spots him, he gets out with his life. That is so important from Available, but now it is kind of foiled here. See how this initiation takes place. EMP gonna lead them in. Connects on a total of 3 players. But you still get the beat and the Coalescence off. Harmony cuts down Kale. And now the Primal Rage really just tossing around Apostle like a ragdoll. The grab to hold him in place. University of Florida in full place, but Apostle with 3 to keep them alive into it. Is a bloodbath on point to see if they can come onto it, but in the ultimate sustain, you have Shun keeping his team alive, and University of Florida withstand the brawl from St. Clair Saints.
Yeah, slowly but surely they are going to fall. A valiant effort there from St. Clair, but they are going to get shut down here in game number 1. University of Florida going to end up taking that, going to the first map all day for the Saints that we've seen actually go the distance to around 3. So an exciting one at that, but Florida are going to take care of that in the end. And it was just in the grasps of the St. Clair Saints. I can't help but feel like with that shadow that we saw right here inside the pagoda for the second round, had that done it, nice selection, little squish damage there coming out here onto Bailable as well. Nicely done there for Dio, but I can't help but think like it would have ended up being the May on the side of University of Florida. Yes, the 6-player shatter happened, but the May wall was up. The play was there. They're all laying on the floor just waiting to get destroyed. But the only damage available because of that May wall was just the Reinhardt hammer from Apostle. And I mean, it does good damage, but not that good. Was in reach. It was very pretty. It got me excited.
It was pretty. But it wasn't dangerous. It wasn't dangerous enough for the St. Clair Saints to overtake that, and you got to give it to Theo. That ending play was what saved Nepal. If not for that play from Dio, they would have lost there. That double Diva Bomb and the Squish Kale on top of it's just the... I love that. It's just, as a caster, just seeing something like that is just so fun. This is so fun. But as a player, it's frustrating when you get smushed by a Diva Bomb. It's almost like the Goomba Stomp of Overwatch these days. And moving on, St. Clair Saints still facing elimination. That is the main highlight for this, and it does sound like, if I heard it correctly, we're heading to Dorado for map 2, or Havana for map 2. I was very mistaken on those two, as they're both just as fun. One sunny, one very nighttime-ish. University of Florida looking to keep their life alive here as they take that Nepal map. St. Clair Saints, this is starting to be worrying, but one thing that you can highlight is St. Clair on Nepal, they won the map where they played double shield. And Havana, you could play double shield.
Right. And this is also a map this entire tournament, other than the one game of Dorado that you saw, every other game 2 has been here on Havana. So, like, Saints are warmed up for this map. They know what they're doing, and we're seeing the exact same composition coming out here. We have the double long range, like the one sniper, the one bolt action. I don't know if you want to call Ash a sniper, but basically, like, still extreme long range damage with possible zoning with Bob and the dynamite. We have our Junk, who this is one of the few maps that he'll actually go off of the Lucio for, and he has been deadly here with the Zenyatta. And then, of course, Nine's back on the Baptiste as per usual, and then G Scales is going to try and make the Sigma work once again, and they are going to find themselves sort of in an extremely early engagement because it looks like University of Florida want to try and spawn camp.
Let's see the swaps that St. Clair won. Doesn't look like they're swapping. They're just going to disengage and rotate through alley. Well, G Scales keeps them distracted in front of that front entrance. If University of Florida, you just need to poke out, or you just need to maintain control, and you just need to stay alive here. Because the longer you stay alive, the more time you're going to kill away from the Saints. And the Saints just need to find that opening, which doesn't look like they're going to be finding. A big pull into the dynamite, but only amounts to disengage from the University of Florida. St. Clair able to take that long angle, but now the entry. Dio going to push them in. Symmetra TPs to the front line, and Arjunk's out of it. Tesla, big headshot onto that Zenyatta. The follow-up just going to tumble along the Saints.
Yeah, so they're just going to have to wait for this information to go down. Nice little extra snipe there from Dark Swan, beautifully shot onto G-Scales. However, Saints will have some utility, will have some ultimates around the corner, but at the same time, Dark Swan going to be someone I'm going to be looking after. Is he going to get sneaky? He has that Shatter in his pocket, ready to go. And with this narrow corridors of Havana, it's definitely possible.
G-Scales has to keep his head out for this. Dramatic Flux, met by the Shatter. The Shatter knocks down 3. Can Tesla take anything? You get the res off of your Rhine too, so ultimately a test to nothing on either side. It's still going to be contesting. And look at Harmony chipping away from G-Scales. Forces out the immortality. The Dragon is going to split off Harmony and even take their life, but even losing out on one, you can see that University of Florida still maintaining control of this front line. There's going to be no res, so Harmony has to make the full rotation from spawn.
This is always such a hard spot to be in. Like, a lot of teams will think of, or they'll see this, or people from the outside will see this and think it's like a BM kind of maneuver. But no, this is absolutely possible to do here on Havana, one of the few maps that you can just completely spawn camp somebody and be successful at doing so. And Saints going to have to fight for their life to try and at least get out of here. Bob's going to get, like, charge on through, and Dark Swan is already down. 9 find himself on the kill feed.
That Bob's going to be doing so much damage into the backline, just peppering away at this squad. And you can see it's going to split the attention of University of Florida. This is where this long-distance poke comp is going to thrive. They finally break on through, and St. Clair Saints get some progression here. Let's get some hype in chat.
That's exactly what we're looking for, and it's oftentimes the case. You just need one fight, then you could finally have a bit of a more normal game in the streets phase. Granted, this is still an extremely narrow corridor with lots of high ground to have to worry about, lots of cover, but it is still way better than trying to fight out of your spawn. So we'll get to see if this is going to be the opportunity for Kale and Baleable to pop off. We've seen our Junk and 9 get aggressive as well. We'll have to see in a second as we have the Flux coming out here from G-Scales.
This is dangerous. Harmony's going to be dropped low, but still getting pocketed by that. Look at Dio on the brink of death, just sustaining their life. You get the TP right into the backline. Love this play.
G-Scales.
From University of Florida. G-Scales finds 2 with the accretion, and AR Junk's forced to take the transit. St. Clair can put this one home. Is anybody going to get there to touch? They do. At the last second. Pulling that Mercy ultimate as well, just to keep your team topped off, but G-Scales is still popping off for his team. You got 0.36 meters to cap this. You're gonna force the Hammond as well, and Harmony still ripping through this double shield composition. This is why Symmetra's now, Symmetra gone out of it. You have the pull from Apostle. Can you take out that Baptiste? Almost getting him. Kale's gonna pop off in the neutral as well with this Hanzo pick. And St. Clair just moments away from capping this. It looks like they're going to put it home. They just need to kill one more player. Tesla's out. Dark Swan's here, and not for long. St. Clair successfully get Route 1.
and by the skin of their teeth, but they're going to end up taking this one. It's going to be the first time we get to actually get past this first point on Havana. So Saints, nicely done there. There's been some early games here in the past, but we're finally going the distance here, and what better when the Saints are on the attacking side of things. So we do, let's take a look at the, actually, for a second, let's take a look at the resources that we have available. Bongo around the corner alongside Bob in the Dragon Strike with a lot of narrow corridors. That Dragon's going to be deadly. Let's see if he can, if Kale could find the strike he's looking for. It's going right through them all.
I wonder how it goes. Remind me a little bit, Danners. Every kiss begins with Kale, and so does that Dragon Strike. Payable, though, he wants to be noticed as well. He finds 2 with his Bob as well, 1 with his rifle, and Apostle makes it personal with Dio. This Arista battle is like an anime battle. And the boss fight of Dio is going to be well on its way to St. Clair's favor. 3 players hop in this car. You got a minute 41 to cap the second point, and St. Clair well on their way to finishing it. You are going to have another contestation, though, from University of Florida.
It's like you never left, Colin. Welcome back, of course. And now we're right on the doorsteps of this second checkpoint, right around the corner. Huge pick, available with the dynamite, getting past the shield and getting the kill onto Dio. The res is going to be forced. Our junk does go down, but it is a trade. Teslo on the Genji is going to end up going down, but 9 now find a couple eliminations for himself as well. He's just straight up flanking these guys, and he's going to help take them down alongside the tank line of St. Clair. This second point is theirs.
It's all St. Clair, everyone. It's all St. Clair. You can wipe that sweat off your forehead now. Tesla made the swap to Genji, but not able to amount to anything in that neutral fight to hold point number 2. Now, this is going to be dangerous for the Genji pick. I need to see Tesla swap because this is point 3 Havana. And if anybody plays Overwatch here, you know that you want to have that sniper on Havana point 3 because a Genji Symmetra, it's either you force this aggression right onto the point, or St. Clair about to roll over this with the Ash Hanzo play in. Ultimately, St. Clair looking to have the dominant roster here. We can see what the CP is going to do. Sentry turret is going to be destroyed right onto the pipes. Tesla slashes through available, but now they're stuck. GCL's poking away from them all, picks up the lot of them with this flux, and dropping on low, still somehow staying alive between the most of them. You can give some props to the University of Florida's healers here because Sean is doing the whole 9 yards of work, and there goes Apostle as 9 as they concede point number 3 first fight to University of Florida.
All right, so they got they managed to push this over to at least basically the halfway point, but now they have to breach through this again. And of course, like you were saying, this area, this third part of Havana, when we do get here, everything that I was talking about, narrow areas, just gets completely thrown out the window. So much open sight lines, perfect for long range and sniping action. And right now, with the Omelette and Sean, they've just been doing an absolutely crazy job of keeping their tanks alive just long enough to kind of bait out the Saints DPS, as it's going to be available going down. Dark Swan, again, just doing fantastic work. We are down to the last minute of play here, and the Saints are stuck.
Well, yeah, the snipers are good for point 3, but you had to set them up. I mean, University of Florida is suffocating the Saints in this small area, so if anybody is familiar with point 3 of Havana, the only 2 exits of your spawn are right exactly what Genji sees right now. It's either the right or the left door. So this is really where the Symmetra Genji is going to thrive. Up in your base, Bailable goes down early, and St. Clair is starting to realize that. You see Bailable makes the swap to McCree, but really still stuck here. As look at University of Florida's ultimates now. Tesla's gaining another blade almost. Harmony has the wall. Dark Swan has the flux as well as Dio's bongos. There's going to be so much damage to just stuff St. Clair Saints here. You get 9 to drop the Amp Matrix, but returned by a couple ultimates. Tesla dashes right through Available and denies St. Clair Saints anything ever on Havana point 3.
Oh, you hear it in the background. Team kill, beautifully done there from the University of Florida. Set up shop, just farmed ultimates, and basically just shut it down. That being said, though, the Saints pushed this thing way further than I think any of us expected after looking at that first initial point. So this is still a very tough score for the side of University of Florida to beat. This is extremely far. We've gone through the first section, A-OK, second section as well, which has been more than we've seen majority of teams do all day. But this is going to be a tough opponent, so we'll have to see.
I mean, this University of Florida squad is nobody to kind of overlook, as this team has... If I'm actually looking at the wrong University of Florida, which is definitely my bad. But as I get this, no, I was looking at the right ones. They took down they lost to Bay State to drop into the lower bracket, and Bay State's a team who's already solidified themselves in what looks like the semifinals, like the top of the top of the Cheez It Invitational's winners bracket. So that's a team that's commendable to lose to. Exactly what same situation which they lost to Ohio. But now you're really looking at St. Clair Saints to stay alive here on Havana. I mean, pushing to point 3 isn't easy. They really kind of made it through the mix. They got a considerable amount of progression on Havana. It's just, can you stuff University of Florida on point 1 like they did to you? Baylable's picking the Forest. They're going to have a lot of aerial control, especially with the pocket from AR Junk. It's just going to be this backup here, as you ultimately are going to be susceptible to a push if Baylable can't do a lot.
Absolutely, but he does have a lot of area to work with. There isn't really anybody who's extremely comfortable with trying to shoot out the Farah. Like, sure, it's going to be basically Shun's job. That's basically it. And at the same time, he's got to worry about healing. So in theory, this should 60%. Just be perfect. Yeah, and he's already down, or already up to rather 80% on that ultimate. So we're going to see the barrage coming out, and he's just constantly destroying the supports right away. Apostle going to find himself a couple kills as well, but Bailable is doing exactly what he needs to do alongside the rest of the Saints.
This is a big call from Bailable too, but I'm gonna need to see some swaps from Florida. They need to have some pressure onto Bailable because his barrage is free. A McCree would be great. It's Heslo. Exactly what he's gonna see here. So now Bailable's gotta be a little bit more patient. See if he can get past this immortality field and do some damage to the team, as now University of Florida, they know Bailable's up there. You still have the TP to get a lot of positioning over the Saints, and the Amp Matrix is going to be pulled on both squads now. Bailable snipes Harmony, though, through that Amp Matrix. Big opening from the Saints, but you lose Apostle, so it's traded out into a bigger hit in favor of this team. But Barrage is going to be dropped on their noggin. Immortality is going to keep them tip-top and prime to win this fight. You see Saints are looking to lose out on this initial point.
That was definitely unfortunate there with the move there from Bailable. When Apostle went down, you could kind of tell, just even in the slightest emotions of his character, that he knew, like, okay, I have to just kind of go for it. It's basically over at this point. So he just Leroy Jenkins it right into the entire team and tried to blow up Dio, which of all players, you're probably not going to blow up that tank very easily. But he was looking and planning to switch anyway, so it's not like I'm like cussing him down. Of course, they switched to the McCree. The Farah is probably not usable anymore. Time to make the switch as we have another engagement, and it looks like G-Scale is going to get murked nice and quick.
That was an interesting engagement from St. Clair, because you know that Florida's going to have ultimates, and now ultimately you're just losing players 1 by 1 if you're St. Clair Saints, so this is not looking the best. Apostle goes down, and it's going to be the disengage from the rest of them. You do have AR Junks able to get these Discord orbs off onto Dark Omelet, or Dark Swan, sorry, Dark Omelet. But anyways, it's just a disengage. St. Clair Saints now have to look at point 2 to hold them off here. The lucky thing is for the Saints is you're coming up on the Deadeye. You have another Amp Matrix. You may be able to stall this out. You need to stay alive, though. That's the first priority, and you already see University of Florida taking a lot of real estate.
Dark Omelet sounds like a username I would have had in high school. But going into this next fight, we're going to see Tesla start things off nice and quick with the Deadeye, but nobody is going to end up going down. Harmy, once again, just a low-key, like, difference maker here. The shields don't always get as much love as possible. Kale, though, is going to find Omelet at the end of the day. Took a little while, but found the shot necessary. So one big healer down already. Tesla trying to do what he can from the far side, and in fact going to be able to take care of G-Scales. One tank down, but you still have Apostle and the rest of the Saints to deal with, and they're putting on the pressure.
Oh, but that is going to be such a dangerous wall. Apostle has no shield. He's forced to back up, and you lose out on Kale. Available a lonesome soldier. Well, Ash, not Soldier, because Soldier is a character in this, but Old Harmony is able to find them, and now AR Junk on an island away from the team. St. Clair Saints are really just getting out-positioned here on Havana, and it's very unfortunate for the Saints fans, because this is starting to look a little bit dangerous, because this is almost going to guarantee a point number 2 pickup for University of Florida. And moving into Streets phase, the way I've been seeing them, Harmony has been on this Symmetra all series long. And it's just moving around University of Florida so freely through this map that St. Clair Saints aren't able to keep up with the pace.
it's all up to this next fight. Can the Saints pull this one off and then try to do very similarly to what they did or what they had done to them, where they were basically just spawn camped in the room? They have to do it quickly. We see the glowing spot just where Dio is standing. That's as far as the side of the University of Florida needs to go, but it all relies on Saints being able to get themselves into a position, but Kale finding that pick is a fantastic start. Let's see if they can do it.
Those are two fantastic picks that really win them that game. As soon as Mercy's out, almost out, that's basically the win for the fight. And it's just the cherry on top taking out Dio. You got Bob, Transcendence, you have 5 ultimates, and the Ant Matrix to lead them in. They're just looking to do extra damage here, take initiative over this team. On the side of Florida, they're really looking at just kiting this off. There's a big sim wall to block them off, give them really free reign over the right side of that. Immortality and Transcendence used to keep them together. St. Clair Saints grasping at straws. Taking this aggression to his team. Dio takes out Apostle. The mirror matches are on top, and University of Florida are going to dethrone St. Clair Saints tonight in the Invitational. Jesus Invitational, losers round 4. They're going to move on. St. Clair Saints are going to call it quits here after dropping 2-0 to the University of Florida. GG's in chat, everyone.
A valiant run nonetheless, but of course, once again, the University of Florida showing exactly why they are as highly seeded as they were, and a lot of it had to do with this player right here, Harmony, just constantly the low-key, like, just destroyer of the St. Clair world here in this situation. Just whether it be annoying people with shields or having that laser charged up and good to go, was always a factor, even if it wasn't necessarily flooding the kill feed. So was well done on their, or in all of the University of Florida's regard. Good luck to them in their further bracket. I know they dropped down to the lower bracket, of course, so they still got quite the run. Definitely going to be looking forward to seeing how they end up doing later on in this event.
That sim pick was so dangerous from them. I mean, it was doing so much to the St. Clair Saints because they didn't look comfortable. They didn't bring out the Symmetra themselves. So I guess it just wasn't the feel between Bailable and Kale. Maybe not the game plan from the St. Clair Saints for the night. But when you're running a double shield like that, Harmony is just going to gain so much charge into that beam. And then it's ultimately allowing just more poke from the side of the University of Florida because Harmony is able to destroy those barriers as soon as they go down. And you just can't compete with something like that, especially when Harmony is just TPing their team back and forth around this whole map of Havana. So big plays from University of Florida. They are a challenging opponent, and no harm to the St. Clair Saints. They looked good for the night. They had a lot of victories, and for their debut, for Saints fans, you guys got to be excited for the rest of the season because this is just the start.
Absolutely. That's the other thing I was going to mention. This is the first time we're seeing the new roster, and granted, this could still be not the final roster. I do want to put that out there. It's not like this is completely locked in, but still, if this is the kind of roster that we're working with, already it is easily like one of the strongest ones we've ever had. Obviously, of course, no offense to when you were on the squad, of course, but you're even poking fun at yourself a little bit earlier today, so it's okay. But
I had a blast. I'm not gonna argue with that. I had a blast.
Hey.
On the team, and but now you know I'm taking the different approach to the esports thing, you know.
And you're absolutely killing it.
I'm talking over the people who are better at playing than I am, Danners.
Hey, if everyone finds their niche, and you're absolutely killing it in your own regard, keep on going. And in regards to the Saint squad for Overwatch right now, unless there's another one-off event, I think it's cooling off a bit until September. But of course, there is still plenty more matches where that came from. I'm going to throw up the schedule actually right quick here, because right now there is a boatload of Rocket League available, including a Windsor battle coming up around the corner. Of course, this weekend, Sunday the 20th at 8 o'clock, we'll have our AVGL Summer Series matchup. Just got to see who our opponent is for that one. We'll figure out very shortly, and you'll be able to catch that news on Twitter, of course. But then Friday, the St. Clair College Green Team has a doubleheader. 8 o'clock, we get to go play up against the University of Windsor, which is always a blast in itself. And then we get to go up against the Guelph Griffins. It's a different one compared to the one that the gold team played earlier, but I'm sure Guelph would still absolutely love to find a little bit of a revenge kill in that matchup, so you don't want to miss that doubleheader. And then there is a bit of a break for the Friday Rocket Leagues. The OCRS does not have anything, I believe, on July 2nd, so a little bit of a breather there. So we just have the AVGL matches for the next 2 weeks, but there is still so much more around the corner. This is still technically the preseason, so we're already still getting busy in regards to all the esports action. So make sure you follow us here on the Saints Gaming CA Twitch channel to not miss a beat.
Business is booming over at the Saints, everyone. Don't miss it out. Don't skip a beat. Everybody's looking so good over on the Saints side. And I'm excited to see the Saints Rocket League team play. And with a lineup, with a schedule like that, it seems like you guys aren't going to miss out on this team one bit at all. Danners, it's been amazing. Miss casting with you. Miss being on here in general. And it's been a fantastic night. I love seeing the Saints teams play. Love seeing the Overwatch team thrive as being part of it previously. So excited to see more of this team. But Danners, is there anything else to kind of mention to these to everybody?
Sure, I've got two things real quick. First off, big thank you, of course, to everybody for tuning in. I don't know what it is about the Saints Overwatch squad, but you all always come out in droves. Always beautiful to see all the support here for the squad. And I'm happy that we were able to put a show on for you and that the team put on a very valiant effort. A very strong show there for everybody. Only going down to like top 10 teams, which is absolutely like nothing to be ashamed about, especially for their first run. And then I have one final thing, of course. Colin, I know you're not in Windsor right now, but will you be coming down to maybe cast at our arena sometime soon? This winter coming out?
Look at that. We got screens on screens on screens over here. Look at these beautiful images, everybody. How could you not want to come here? And yeah, I might not be in Windsor, but you are definitely, like, they got a VR booth. Look at that. I didn't even see that before, but they got a VR booth. The stage is beautiful. I promise that I will be down to cast in this and echo my vocal cords through the chambers of St. Clair College. I'm so excited to see that. I hope everybody else is so excited to see that as well, because it's been such a project. I remember when it was first announced. I remember when everything first started for this, and the plans to build this in general has been long time coming, and you can bet, Danners, that I will not miss it.
Awesome. We'll definitely have a seat for you whenever you happen to be down. Of course, to I guess kind of explain, like, you will be able, like, people will be able to come into the arena to watch matches live, but we will not be stopping the live Twitch broadcast as well for those who cannot actually attend either. So one way or another, you come in person or watch online. There's just so many ways to get involved now in Windsor, St. Clair College Esports. So it's just awesome to see.
So don't worry, if you can't be there, you won't be square. There's always another way to watch.
It's okay. You can be a circle, cylinder, triangle, whatever you want to be. You'll be there one way or another.
One way or another.
But of course, big thank you again also to Colin for coming in here and relieving me a little bit here. When I saw the message after the game 3, it's like, yes, thank you. As much as I love soloing, these become long days, and it's always a pleasure casting with you.
I love it. I love every second of it. Well, everybody, thank you for tuning in. Danners, everybody bow to Danners. Give a big thank you, Mr. Danners, in chat, of course. It is definitely well done. This guy carries the St. Clair Saints broadcast every single week. Until next time, though, Saints Nation, we'll see you next time. Have a great night.